Okay, welcome back everybody. This is your next lesson, which is going to be on adding mixed numbers. Now, having just finished adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators, this shouldn't be too difficult. There's going to be, however, a little bit of an added step, and that's going to be the mixed number element. Okay, now one thing that you're going to have to know how to do before you start adding and subtracting mixed numbers is changing the improper fraction into a mixed number. Okay, so why don't we really quickly just go over how to do this. Right here we have an improper fraction. We know it's improper because the top number is bigger than the bottom number. In order to solve that, in order to convert that really, we're going to take the top number and divide it by 5. 29 divided by 5. Numerator divided by denominator. 5 divides into 29 5 times. That's our whole number. Multiply, you get 25. Subtract, you get 4. So 5 4/5. There you have it. Remember, your remainder goes on top, and your denominator is the same as before. We had a 5, and we still have a 5. Unless it reduces. A lot of times it doesn't reduce, but that's it. So this was 5 4/5. So how do we know we're right? Let's go ahead and check out our arithmetic. 5 times 5 is 25. Add 4 to that. 25 plus 4 is 29. So we get 29/5. So we know we did it right. Okay, here's our first example. We have 7 3/15 plus 5 2/5. Now the steps, as you may already have noticed, are basically the same as adding unlike fractions. We're only just dealing with mixed numbers here. All the steps are basically the same. Alright, so let's focus in on our denominators because we need them to be the same. 15 and 5 are not the same. Do not add them. So we need to find an LCD. The LCD is 15. Okay, 15 is a multiple of itself, so that's okay. 15 is a multiple of 5, and that's okay. Okay, now let's look at our multiplying factor. How many times does 15 factor into itself? Well, once times 1. So that's going to be our multiplying factor here. 3 times 1 is 3. What's our multiplying factor from here? 3. So we're going to multiply 2 times 3 and get 6. And this was key. We need to have same denominator before we do any adding or any subtracting. 15 and 15. So let's go ahead and add this up. 3 plus 6 is 9, and not so fast. Don't add these. Do not ever add them. 15 is just the way it is. And then add the whole numbers. Don't forget about them. You know, they could kind of, sometimes people forget about them. But 7 and 5 is 12. 12 and 9/15. If you look really closely, you'll notice that 9 and 15 are not in lowest terms. So let's divide those numbers by a common factor. What factor of 9 is also a factor of 15? Well, it's got to be 3. 12 just stays the way it is. Don't reduce the whole number. Reduce the fraction, though. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And there's your answer, 12 3/5. Okay, here's our next example. We have 1 5/6 plus 5/12. Let's find our common denominator, our lowest common denominator, and let's use 12. Notice right here, this denominator changes from a 6 into a 12 by a factor of 2. Therefore, the numerator will change. Denominator changes, numerator changes. Denominator doesn't change, numerator doesn't change. 5 times 2 is 10. So 5/6 equals 10/12. Here's an example of one where the numerator or the denominator is exactly the same. 12 times 1 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5. Okay, now we're ready to add. 10 plus 5 is 15. So we get 15/12. That looks like it's improper to me. So let's take 15 and divide it by 12. How many 12s are there in 15? There's 1. 12 times 1 is 12. Subtract, and you get 3. You put your numerator on top. 12 stays there. And then reduce it. Go ahead and reduce this. What does 3 and 12 reduce by? 3 works, and so you get 1 1/4. And that's all she wrote. 1 1/4. Okay, here are a couple more examples here. Our denominators in our first example are 4 and 9. We need a multiple of 4 and a multiple of 9 that they have in common. And 36 works perfectly. 4 factors into 36 9 times. 3 times 9 is 27. There you got it. How many times does 9 factor into 36? 9 times 4. So that's what we're going to multiply 7 by. 7 times 4 is 28. 27 plus 28 is 55. 55 over 36. And then 3 and 7 makes 10. But I'm not going to put that down yet. I'm going to change 55 over 36 into a mixed number. 36 goes into 55 once. 1 times 36 is 36. Subtract, and you get 19. So 1 and 9/36. And we're not done quite just yet. Go back to your whole numbers. 3 plus 7 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. There's your answer to that one. Okay, going to the next one here. We have 8 and 5. 8 and 5 both have a common denominator of 40. 8 factors into 40 5 times. 7 times 5 is 35. 5 factors into 40 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32. Now add those up. 35 plus 32 is 67. Don't add the denominators. We get 67/40ths. Now that is improper. Let's go ahead and change that to a mixed number. How many times is 40 factored into 67? Just once. Math is not too difficult here. You get 27 left over, and that is it. 1 and 27/40ths. Well, that concludes our flip lesson on adding mixed numbers. Everyone have a great night. Make sure you guys took good notes. Make sure you didn't just write down a bunch of number problems. Make sure you wrote down some words, some steps, and you have a better understanding of how to add and subtract mixed numbers at the end of this lesson. Everyone have a great night. See you tomorrow.